All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Divergent Gaming Open. My name is Inver, and I'm joined here by none other than Jay Howe. How are you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Got to do this last week, and excited to do it again this week. Last week was pretty killer action, man.
Yeah, I know I'm not as pretty as Gilly, but I will try and be as fantastic of a co-caster here for you. I'm looking at the brackets, and we should have a great night of games set up. A lot of really high-end AM teams are coming out tonight, so I'm really excited to see the quality of games. It should be pretty exciting.
I know there's a lot that goes on. I know one of the teams that has kind of made a bit of a name or a renaming of sorts is Arcane, who's been around for a while, took a break, and they're back. You know, there's a lot of good stuff, and I know that we're on the cusp of this weekend with the regionals, which is going to be pretty amazing, right? So I got a bunch of work done today so that I can pretty much cheat and watch a whole bunch of stuff this weekend. So I'm pretty excited, both from where we're at doing the amateur scene as well as checking out this weekend, man.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm pumped. I got all my homework done. I handed my last assignment in today. And this is a weekend of Heroes Esports. I'm pretty excited. I'm watching a bunch of the casters who are there tweeting stuff, and it seems to be pretty exciting. Just some of the behind the scenes stuff that's going on. So, but we're gonna start the weekend off right here at the Divergent Gaming Open. So thanks everyone here who's joining us. And I think it's going to be a really fun night. I'm going to start off. We're waiting for these teams to get into it. I've reached out to our first team. We're actually going to be following Arcane Esports. And they were actually, you casted them on Wednesday. They ended up being the victors of the Heroes Hype, correct?
Yeah, it was an interesting finals because the best of three, the first game, we saw an Abathur on one team and a Lost Vikings on the other, which made for a pretty interesting game. I'm not sure if we'll see the same. But the one thing I like about these amateur tournaments is that people aren't afraid to switch things up a little bit. I mean, how many times do we really get a treat to, go with the Lost Vikings, especially against somebody like an Abathur? So, the amateur series, they don't always have to go full on meta. I'm sure one of these teams definitely wants to win, but they're also having a bit of fun, which is what I like.
Absolutely. No, we see some crazy stuff you'd never see anywhere else. I feel like it's the very highest echelon of play, and then the AM scene. They bust out all the fun stuff. Everyone who's 2 through 8, they just play meta. They just want to win, but everyone else is yeah, we'll do fun stuff. I'm really stoked to see what C9 brings out this weekend. They are becoming notorious for having some crazy stuff. So I'm having my friends message me and saying, "Hey, you want to do Team League Friends? No, you should come and hang out on the stream. We're live with the Open." So no Team League, unfortunately, but we're gonna be hopping into this game shortly. I have reached out to Arcane Esports. They are just finishing up. They were in a very long quick match game, but they should be reaching out to their team now. I talked to Chrissy Lowe, and he was complaining about that. So we should be getting
I
to
don't blame them. I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes before these start, it's either sit around and do nothing for 30 minutes or just hop into a quick match. And sometimes those quick matches, all of a sudden, they sneak up on you. You're like, wait a minute, I'm actually supposed to start. And so I know what they're doing, and I understand it.
Absolutely. No, a few times we've actually ended up facing other teams we're going to be playing in the tournament, and those are always fun. And you're just hoping you're not giving away anything in the draft and what you're drafting. Usually try and draft something a little bit crazy. So we've got some. I'm just going to talk to the teams here, start getting this underway. Give me a breakdown because we're going to be following Arcane. Give me kind of the audience a bit of a rundown. What exactly went down on Wednesday at Heroes Hype?
Yeah, so Heroes Hype was pretty interesting. We saw Arcane again, who's been making a name for themselves. We actually saw some pretty good, I guess, kind of the upper tier of the amateur scene that was in there, and they all worked their way through. We had RFS in there, we had Arcane, we had a couple other teams, and it made for a really good show. And we went. I'm trying to remember, was it RFS that had the disconnect? It was Percival, right?
Yeah, so fun story about that. Percival was in the middle of an ice storm. This giant storm that was coming up the East Coast on Wednesday. And he DC'd in the quarterfinals. And they ended up winning the game with a bot. ETC bot was phenomenal. And then in the semis, he DC'd again during the game. And Murden bot, they were ahead 21 to 19, down, up a keep. And Murden bot just couldn't pull it out. So, yeah, that was pretty fun. Yeah, it happens, yeah. So, hopefully none of the teams are going to be experiencing any of those crazy weather phenomenon tonight. Fingers crossed. I don't think there's any storms expected. So I'm just going to talk a little bit here for those of you who might not be overly familiar with Divergent Gaming, just what exactly is kind of going on and what exactly Divergent Gaming is. So it's more than just a company that puts on these tournaments. It's actually a pretty big community. It's kind of got its roots in Heroes of the Storm, but they do a whole bunch of other games. They've got a TeamSpeak server, a Discord server, a website, all this kind of stuff. So if you're actually looking to get more involved with this kind of stuff and actually want to become a member of the Divergent Gaming community, go check out divergentgaming.com or .gg, I believe is the actual. I'm sure one of the mods will put it in chat. And sign up and get involved. We have a bunch of really cool people there. And if you're looking to go that extra mile, we are actually having a t-shirt campaign going on right now. And we're selling t-shirts, and they're pretty cool. We're trying to raise some fundraising, because as you guys know, this is one of the few AM tournaments that actually has a prize pool. The first place team brings home $100, so we're trying to keep that going, but it's people like you in the community who helping us out actually helps making that a reality, and actually helps putting together that funding that goes straight to the players. So if you guys want to continue with that, be sure to support.
I think the good thing to note about that, in particular, the Divergent Gaming, I've been following it for weeks now. It's kind of interesting when you look at this, right? Because a lot of people, and I don't want to advocate and tell people, hey, you should do this. I'm saying that if it's a choice of yours and this is something that you're passionate about, much like we are, as casters, is that, the Divergent series brings some really good casting. We've had Dreadnought on here, we've had Gillyweed. A lot of the bigger names have been on here, and being able to bring some of the bigger names, and then I hate to say it, but being able to bring some of the bigger prize pools will also bring some of the upper echelon teams as well. And I think Divergent is right on the cusp of that. It really goes a long way. As far as like the whole T-shirt campaign and everything like that, I know that there's a push on Divergent's end to try and basically what they take in, put it right back into the tournament to try and bring in some of these bigger teams to up the prize pool. And that's really difficult as an amateur series. There's not a whole lot of sponsorship out there right now, but it's one of those things that if you can put on the right type of show, you can get the right people involved, then that helps bring sponsors in. So it's kind of like a whole cycle there as far as being able to bring teams together, being able to bring casters together, and then put it all in a great format. I mean, we see the Enter the Storm, which is pretty big by Gozu, but let's say the next step is well below that. But there's a lot that people can do, both by following the channel. I mean, that's a good start to show that there is a good following. There's already 1,400 people, and I know some of the other ones aren't a whole lot higher, and they've been around a lot longer. And you can find different ways. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter. They've got a YouTube channel and stuff like that. And as you said, the community as well. I believe it is divergentgaming.com. So there's a lot of different ways I think to get involved, both with this tournament and the community. And anything that anybody contributes is a plus, man. I mean, that's why I like the amateur scene. That's why I like the people involved in the amateur scene, because we're all out trying to do something special with a game that we love.
Absolutely. We, commit countless hours a week and everything to this, or for some of us, well over a year now, I know for myself personally. So spent a lot of time playing this game, and we love it, and so many great people. I've met so many great friends with this. You got the draft link I sent you? On BNet Air. We're about to hop into this first draft. Yeah, sorry, that's where I'll be messaging primarily. So we're about to hop into this first draft, guys. J-How's 100% spot on. The AM scene is, it's one of those things where if we don't help it grow, it's not going to. But we'll talk more about this later. We're going to be hopping into this first draft. It's going to be Arcane Esports versus Colosus, and I actually know a fair amount about both these teams, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do tonight. What are your kind of predictions going to these first picks and bans here?
Arcane, you see the team that they've put together, and I know a few of them as well. And it's one of those things that they all kind of come from, the scene itself, and they all get put together. And one thing that I saw, because I saw them when they first came back, and, they've been very active in a lot of these tournaments. And, they play really well. And then, it shows signs of maybe the inexperience of being as a team. But every time that I've seen them play, it seems like they get better. Like, individual talent is there. But when it comes to being a team, it takes time to develop that type of correct communication, knowing who's going to be where and who's strong at what. And every time I've seen them, man, they've gotten better, like a lot better.
Absolutely. I feel like it's a lot of the same core guys, and they're kind of rotating. A lot of teams have this problem, is rotating out that 4th and 5th slot. But these are guys who've been in the community for as long as I could remember. A couple active streamers as well, which is great. But the map is going to be Cursed Hall. The first ban coming out for Arcane Esports is going to be Falstad. Now, that's a really fun pick for... I think Falstad's actually in a really underrated spot right now, and a lot of teams, I don't think you're giving him the love that he sort of deserves here. And it looks like Rhaegar is going to be the return ban for Colossus. Rhaegar, he's slated for some upcoming nerfs, but as he stands right now, still very, very strong in the current meta.
He's definitely considered the best support and definitely first ban or first pick worthy. Rarely will you see him not banned or not first pick. And, you know, we aren't going to see him here. They're going to go ahead and ban him. And, you know, like you said, the nerfs are coming. They've already tweaked him a little bit, I think a couple times since the original big patch.
Twice
they're
now.
Gonna be taking, yeah, they're going to be bringing him down again. And so I don't know if we'll see much Rhaegar tonight, but if we do, then you know that somebody got off to a strong start with their draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not expect him to make him through the pick ban the ban phase. Zagara's gonna be the first pickup for Arcane Esports. Zagara has been first pick worthy, probably coming up on 6 months now. Until Zul, there's only Zul comes out next week. I don't think you're gonna really see too much counter to her. If there is one currently sitting in heavily in favor, it is going to be Thrall, one of the few heroes in the game who can stand his own in a lane against her, and gonna pair that with Li Ming. So a lot of poke. And then some very hard engage coming in with Thrall.
The one thing that's fun about Li Ming is the amount of builds that are coming out depending on not only map, but team composition. You know, I've seen a lot of different Li Ming play over the last week or two, whether it be on streams, whether it be during tournaments. You know, there's a little bit different prioritization. We've seen the extra range on maps like Cursed Hollow. When you're trying to prevent somebody to pick up the tribute, you see that poke that comes in. There's a lot of different stuff that's being done with Li Ming, and I like the fact that they had to take the S of Johann out of there. They had to. And since they've done that, Li Ming is a completely different hero. Still very strong, and it's just one of those things that Li Ming, Jaina, they're going to be picked a lot, man. They're going to be picked a lot.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things I love so much about Li Ming is the fact that it's not only her play that's important, but it makes the other team play differently.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get to half health, you might be winning the fight, but you say, we've got to start backing, because if we let Li Ming start chaining, it's GG, it's game over, we're going to lose this fight. So it forces reactionary play from the opposing team, and I think that's something that's not enough heroes do. Thrall's also actually one of those heroes. That Sunder Engage is absolutely so potent. The Maw on the other side, there's a few heroes, a lot of the big heroes we're seeing now actually have the ability to force play from their opponents. Obviously, Jaina is just a strong pickup, and they're combining that with the Muradin, so quite a bit of CC coming out from Arcane Esports.
You know, the other night when Arcane Esports was second pick, every single game they had second pick, I believe it was every game, they picked a Jaina Thrall combination. Like, they love that Jaina Thrall combination for exactly what you just said, the engagement potential. And when they had that, they were doing some big things with it. They're not going to have it this time, though.
No, they're not. You know, unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to grab it there. And looks like the Tehran is going to be the next ban, followed by Uther. So banning out these supports, I like denying the Miranda combo from Arcane, and then Arcane denying that Uther Thrall combo. So both are saying you're not going to get your ideal supports here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Monk picked up for Colossus here. Sort of the last dive buddy support remaining, who's got that huge burst heal and that divine palm. They could also potentially go for like a double tank medic style and just go for a massive poke comp. Johanna as well. I love Johanna on this map. She's got great wave clear, and also the ability that long range blind is awesome for taking down those tributes and stopping people from capping those. So wouldn't be surprised to see the Monk double tank combo. Or medic double tank combo coming out here for Colossus. Just a reminder for everyone, Stitches is banned still tonight. They have not resolved his lag bug, so you won't be seeing Stitches play tonight. But it looks like Colossus are thinking really hard about these next couple picks.
Yeah, you know, I think looking at that, they're going to be able to pair Kharazim up there. When you have somebody like Thrall, one of the things that I like a lot of teams do, and it's really hard when one team does it and the other team doesn't, it's pairing somebody on the front line with their warrior, whether it's a double warrior combination or whether it's a bruiser warrior combination, or even somebody like Thrall. That's why it's been so difficult, and that's why I really like the fact that Zul's coming in. Yes, he's a specialist, but he's still going to be on that front line, and there's still going to be a lot of potential with what he's doing. Having Thrall up there on that front line with Johanna, Thrall, a very strong pick, and then being able to have that, which means it's going to force Muradin to basically have to either pick up Sonya or somebody else to join on that front line. The dive and initiation composition of Colossus right now, and they're running low on their time pool, but if they grab Kharazim here, I'm going to really like what they have. They are going to go Morales maybe instead.
Potentially. I feel like Morales would be the pick if they're... This suggests to me they're probably going to run a double tank, and then just have that near indestructible front line, and with that crazy poke in the back line. Or they could run something like a Vala as well. and kind of run something to similar effect. I'm not sure how I feel about the Morales pick here, just because I feel like Arcane is, as you mentioned, probably going to go for something pretty divey. If they grab like a Sonya Monk here or something to that effect, that would be a pretty terrifying. Or Greymane. Oh man, yeah. Greymane coming in here. Morales is going to have a pretty tough time dealing with that. She steps out of position at all. That is not going to be a fun time for her. So all that's left is support. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Monk picked up. Monk.
The dive composition just came out.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Oh, yeah. I think at this point, ETC's still on the board. Diablo's still on the board for Colosus. If they're not looking to pick up any more damage, I feel like that's probably the high CC tanks probably need to be coming out.
I feel like you had it. I think it's definitely going to be either a Vala. You know, we don't see Kel'Thas obviously as much since the nerfs, but you know, I really feel like this has got to be a ranged pick with somebody with some mobility like a Vala.
Yep.
I mean, you talk about Greymane diving in, if you can, you know, single him out, because Greymane is normally first to dive in, unless Mirrodin uses that Dwarf Toss to get in, but it's not always something there. And then Kharazim also able to come in and supplement that. But there's the poke.
There's it is.
Vala, and I like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Hungering Arrow tonight for this composition, as opposed to something like a multi-shot build.
Yes, indeed. You know, it's one of those situations where she's gonna have to duel, and if Greymane hops in, we'll see what happens. The medic's going to have her work cut out for her. Wouldn't be surprised to see a grenade build come out from her. Awesome. You're already in the game, so that's fantastic. Beat me to it. So this draft, though, I like the drafts coming out from both these sides. I feel like both are sort of aiming to accomplish something a little bit different. So we'll just see sort of what happens here. We've got a little bit more poke and then a little more high engage. So I feel like the Sunders coming out from Thrall are going to be a really big deciding factor here. I was actually talking to Colosus earlier, and I know that Thrall is one of those key heroes they know that they need to really work into their strategies. So we're going to see how they do tonight. It's going to be exciting.
The damage is definitely there for Colosus. I mean, they have a lot of damage potential when you talk about Valen leaving alone. And then you add Thrall into that. The potential is real. And Thrall, the fact that he's able to sustain, you know, that's definitely going to help. But when you talk about Arcane Esports, there's absolutely nothing wrong with their draft composition. If they're able to get the dive that they're anticipating, Morales, Li Ming, or Vala could go down very quickly, and the fight could turn extremely fast.
Yeah, if someone gets caught in a Mirrodin stun in a blizzard, and then Greymane jumps on them, that person is just going to get deleted. There's nothing that's really going to be able to come out. No matter the blinds doesn't matter, the heal's not going to matter, the safeguard's not going to matter. That person's just going to be dead. Morales can't self-cleanse anymore, so not having that I feel like is going to be a big factor here. We're going to see how the cleanses are. So I think that's going to be a really big thing here is the medic play and the Thrall play. I feel like if they don't play well, I feel like Arcane might just roll through here.
One thing that I love about the latest patches is that, you know, for the longest time, it was all about the stun meta. And you talk about this, Jaina can slow, Mirrodin has a stun, but outside of that, you know, there's not a huge amount of crowd control. Zagara, of course, with her Devouring Maul, but then you've got Thrall with the Sundering, Johanna with the Condemn. But as far as, like, hard CC goes, it's not necessarily the same focus that it was about a month ago, which was a very limited meta. And I think they've made a lot of good changes, and this is the type of group gameplay that you like to see. The meta right now has been expanded to unprecedented levels, I think.
That's great.
In Heroes, and it's really good.
Oh, I love where the meta's at right now. There was sort of a few tournaments there where like, oh no, don't have these crazy passive kite comps. And there's a few games where like, oh no, is this going to be a thing? And I know some of the top players were talking about it and like, oh, please don't let this be a thing where we have one fight at level 20 and that decides the game. That's not fun for anyone. But I actually think, you know, we're seeing a great range. I'm seeing almost every hero played. I'm seeing everything. Blizzard wanted to get rid of the stun meta, and I think they succeeded. They did it a little bit tentatively, and they started going through and doing more gentle patches, which I am a huge fan of. I come from Dota originally, and Dota's not really known to do that too much. I know that's more of a League of Legends thing, as doing some more
It just felt weird that it was like as soon as they started their biggest tournament ever.
Yeah, but you know, you got to do it. You got to do it at the end of the day. So
it was very much, you know, it was kind of like something that I talked about on a podcast a few weeks ago, was that Stitches, would they leave Stitches unfixed? Do they already have the fix out, knowing that these teams are all scrimming in customs, saying, hey, we know you're going to be scrimming in customs, so let's not fix him just yet and make him available for regionals? That's just a crazy theory of mine.
Yeah, I wonder, actually, if you're correct. I'm just setting up the overlays here. So if you want to introduce these teams, go for it.
Absolutely. On the left side for the blue team, we are going to have Arcane Esports. That's going to be Chrysalo on Jaina, Insider on Zagara, Schnazzy on Muradin, Handlebars on Greymane, and Mfu on Karazim.
Absolutely, and coming in on the other side, it's going to be Colosus. We've got Playa playing that medic, Kemet on Thrall. We've got Trash Talk playing that Li Ming, Switty Krug on Johanna, and Panda Man Zeus is playing that follow. But here we go. They're not going to let Zagara creep up at all. The engage is coming in. They're jumping on her very aggressively. Insider taking a lot of damage. There's the root, and actually going to go down. Really quick takedown to start this game.
You know what Zagara was doing. She was trying to get vision to prevent any future ganks. The problem is the gank actually came immediately, and the damage was real, and they're able to turn this around, and now they are absolutely assaulting this top tower here in Virm, and that's a huge bonus, a huge pick-off very early in the game here to really help with that experience. But middle and bottom lane, uncontested right now.
Yeah, I feel like they realized, they committed so much to that first kill, they were going to lose Soak anyway, so might as well take a tower out of it and help negate a little bit of that XP damage, because they're going to end up losing almost 2 full waves of XP here, so that's actually a big deal. I almost feel like the XP is going to even out pretty much in the end here, but Panda Man Zeus actually a little bit cut out. The stun's going down. Here we go. Greymane's going in. He's getting taken down immediately. Oh man, Vala was just a little bit caught out there, and great capitalization coming out from Arcane.
Nice rotation. We did see Greymane go down. That's the power there. When you can get a stun in from Muradin, the potential is real for the follow-up there. Greymane now rotating back to the middle as we still have a 3v3 in the top, and you can see Li Ming is going to be able to do some poked damage. Very intensive mana right now. You see the grenades going out, trying to clear out the Zagara creep. They're prioritizing the lane that she is in, and they are bullying her back, and something that doesn't always happen to Zagara.
I love this decision-making. They're taking a hero who normally wins her lane, that's why you kind of pick the hero, and they're denying her from doing that. Noticing they're actually body blocking the damage coming out here. Mfu's going to have quite a bit of sustain healing, so they can do that for now, but as these levels progress, they're actually not going to be able to do that, and it's not going to be beneficial. They'll actually start trading negatively, but here we go. Camps are about to spawn in 10 seconds. Watch team to start backing up and start taking those, and the next tribute will be spawning anywhere in the next 20 to 60 seconds. Exactly
like you just said, Mfu and Chrysalo there for Arcane Esports. Know this exactly. The first one obviously could spawn or start spawning here in about 5 seconds from now. Obviously, they're on rotation. You don't know which one, but the one thing that you want to do is you want to try and grab camps, as we see Thrall doing the same thing on the other side. And this is what the pros do, man. They know the rotations of the map. They're going to hope for RNG on their side for that tribute to spawn away from their siege camps, and then see if they can get some value out of it.
Absolutely. Arcane right now is hoping that it spawns bottom, and Colosus is hoping that it spawns top. So we'll see how RNGesus rolls here and how it's going to come out. But the first tribute is actually going to spawn, and it is going to be in that bot lane. So Arcane Esports is come out a little bit on top here. We'll see if anyone's going to have to stay and deal with these siege camps, or if they're just going to let them push here. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see Insiders stay and push with these. Or is he going to rotate down? Yes, he is. All right.
They're actually going to go ahead and rotate Li Ming back up. It looked like, they were originally going to go back and let it go, and then Zagara decided to stay up there, and then they said no, they didn't. And they're pretty much going to have to give up this first one, and this is going to be tough for them as Panda Man Zeus takes a blizzard and gets absolutely annihilated on that back lane. They got to be careful here as they back out. First tribute going to Arcane.
Yeah, they kind of realized that they were going to lose way too much if they didn't leave Li Ming up there in the top. So they're going to try and stall it out as long as possible to actually try and get an XP benefit from that. But in the end, it ended up backfiring a little bit as Panda Man Zeus, unfortunately, getting caught out there by a very well-placed blizzard there from Jaina.
Very well done, as we do see the prioritization for another camp. Mfu and Chrysalo seem to be on this camp rotation. They're going to go ahead and try and grab these early, and that's going to be another thing that pays dividends if they can start getting some value out of that. The thing is, in this top lane, we do have Morales keeping up Li Ming, and she's going to do all kinds of damage as the second tribute is going to spawn. That's going to force another rotation down from Colosus, who's been making a huge focus out of that top lane, and it looks like it's back down here on the safe side for Arcane Esports.
Yep, and a relatively favorable spawn location for Arcane once again, as they're already sort of in position to deal with this. Schnaz is going to position himself very well here to give vision, but the rest of his team is not actually here yet, so I feel like there's potential here for Colosus to come in, and Schnazzy taking quite a bit of damage to start off this fight.
Mfu on the back line. He's receiving the heals. He's staying on point, but he's not going to get there. The roaches do come out. The poke is coming in on the back line from that of Colosus. The double stun coming out there. Level 7 was hit, so that is available. The Condemned going in. Schnazzy having a dwarf toss out of there. The damage is coming out. And on this back line, Handlebars is trying to get a gank, but we see continued on the front line. The assault is real, and Schnazzy goes down. And the continued assault just missing the stun. Can Mfu get out of there? No. Down goes 2 members of Arcane Esports.
Oh man, that was absolutely massive. Playa was able to keep his team up during that somehow. I have no idea. A great Crisilo tried to execute a really awesome flank there and was almost... Oh, we're actually going to have a pause. And was almost able to do that. But as it stands, that Playa, as I was mentioning, great... Well, the fact that he was playing that with connection issues is damn impressive because he was pulling out some pretty crazy healing during that. I actually thought when Greymane jumped in there on Vala, that could spell the end, but as it stands, good fight coming out from Colosus.
Yeah, definitely a really good fight. And we are seeing a little bit of a hybrid build coming out there from Vala. That composite arrows with that extra multi-shot range at level 1, that's going to help with the poke. But then we take a look at that level 4 talent, and that's the puncturing arrow, which means hungering arrow is going to bounce up 3 times, and then the repeating arrow, which resets hungering arrow. So that could be potentially 6 shots on one hero if the mana is there and if they are singled out. That's kind of the big thing, is they have to kind of be in a general area by themselves to get full potential at a damage. But if we do have a dive there, somebody that was split off like last time, like the Greymane, you can basically force them off point. And we actually saw the damage go out there on Karazim as he was trying to retreat. All shots weren't needed, but Karazim was not getting out of there alive one way or another.
Absolutely, and I feel like this is definitely a direct response to that Greymane. Greymane wants to jump in, and he separates himself from his team at all. He's going to have something to fear in, potentially taking 2 hungering arrows to the face. So definitely going to making him think twice if he wants to really hard engage here. So so far, pretty standard builds coming out across the board there. It looks like it's going to be a teleport build coming out from Li Ming, judging by that. And again, a little variant here coming out from Jaina, opting for that winner's reach at level 1. Definitely just wanting to make sure that she's got that little extra poke on the tributes. And pretty standard, though, coming out from across the board. Opting to go for battle momentum for Zagara. So I feel like that was definitely... they're going to try and have her sit in lane and push as best they can. So, and once... Yeah, Medic actually opted to not go for cleanse, which I think is really interesting.
I mean, the hard CC isn't necessarily there. Yes, the slow is there. The double stun is going to be coming out. Obviously, cleanse only going down on 1, but the piercing bolt at level 7 for Mirrodin. Again, without the hard CC comp, it's one of those things that you might want to stray away from. Obviously, there's still potential there from the Jaina slow or the stun coming out from Mirrodin to single somebody out and then get that stun in there and then be able to get that gank. That's why cleanse is so valuable. But, again, getting away from that, the hard CC comps, it's a little bit easier now not to have to go with cleanse, and it actually gives you an option depending on how you feel you're going to play versus how you feel the other team is going to utilize their CC.
Yeah, so we'll see how it works out for her. I do like this pickup of the grenade talent as well, though, as I mentioned. Just another way to help deal with that dive. But the game has started. Playa is back. So these teams are going to be resetting. So the XP is incredibly even going into this. Pushing is fairly even as well. Tributes are even. So far, a very even start to this game.
And we are going to see a little bit of a prioritization to stay in these lanes. It's a 1-to-1 tribute exchange. As you said, the experience is pretty much dead even. The next tribute should be coming up soon. Will we see somebody focus on getting that lane experience and then rotating it into a level 10 for the next tribute after that? Is there enough time to do all that? That's going to be the big thing, as the next curse is coming up now, and it's actually going to be on the safe side of Colosus this time, and this is going to be interesting to see how this fight goes out. Of course, that poke potential is there from both teams. Arcane Esports, they're going to go ahead and rotate over. We see Schnazzy preparing in the party bush. What can they get out of this Infram as he gets sniffed out real quick?
Yeah, his team's actually not there yet. A lot of them opted to back, which I like going in here, but they're going to be slightly late. It doesn't matter. The stun's going to come out. Both these teams are fighting into a bit of a choke here, and watch for Li Ming to start doing an insane amount of damage. Kemet, though, is actually caught it a little bit on the side of this, so he's poking from a different angle here, but watch. I feel like Li Ming is going to be the deciding factor in this fight. Kemet, though, actually getting forced out in the bottom of this, so this is kind of a big deal. Roaches are going to go down, so this is going to delay us quite a bit. I feel like there's a time for them to go in. It needs to be now, but oh my god, the giant Arcane Orb coming out. Schnazzy's coming in, though, but his backline is very low. Any more of this damage, Chris, they're not going to connect, but there we go. All the damage. The Blizzard coming down. There it is. And Johanna is going to fall. I feel like that's probably going to spell the end here. Will they be able to get any more kills, though? I'm not 100% sure. I don't think that's lightly trash talk. Trying his best. Panaman Zeus caught out. He doesn't have a lot of mana, though, so is Chrissy going to be able to follow up on this? And maybe. Oh, that was close. But the tribute hasn't actually been capped yet.
That's kind of the biggest thing in Li Ming coming into the poke, forcing Insider off that. Kemet still coming down from that bottom middle area. He's trying to get the poke as the lightning comes out. The members are back now for Colosus, but level 10 was hit in the meantime for Arcane Esports, all but securing that second tribute. Level 10 will be hit in time for Colosus before the next fight, which is going to make it much more interesting. Playa has to be careful here. Nice grenade coming out for the displacement, but diving in there. Imfu coming into that back lane. Playa in all kinds of trouble. Devouring Maw hits Vala. Playa goes down, and this is going to be a dead Vala right after this, as she's going to go ahead and try and retreat back to the fort. The stun comes in, and that was a great rotation there by Imfu to come in on that back lane. The dive in by Schnazzy, and they're going to be able to get a fort out of this.
Yeah, that was an absolutely great aggressive play. They looked at the minimap and knew that the rest of the team wasn't there. They only had 2 players out. They had level 10. So they was absolutely great job taking advantage of that. And level 10 has come in now for both teams, but wow, those were a couple great kills and a great rotation there coming out from the side of Arcane. And this next tribute spawn is in a very favorable position for them.
Yeah, 2 tributes to 1, but both teams are at their heroics. Vala is going to be the last to rotate over since she is just now coming back from death. We see Schnazzy going in, basically keeping an eye on things. They're going to have to zone it out, as Greymane is also trying to come down from that middle lane as well, as the fight is about to start here.
Yeah, absolutely, but not all the ults are up for the side of Arcane, and they will be all up now for the side of Colosus, so let's see what they can do with them here. Water Elemental's going down to the backline. Schnazzy's hopping in, he's going to catch out Li Ming, but there comes the Sunder, the straight for the backline too. Chrissy taking lots of damage, and here we go, Handlebar, 7-sided strike coming in as well. Playa is doing keeping everyone alive. 1, 2, 3 gonna fall, here we go. Mfu's running in the backline as well. Insider doing his best to body block, but I'm not sure that it's going to be enough. Panda Man Zeus is chasing like a devil, he's got that stim drawn on him, and yes, is Insider going to drop? No. So 4 kills for none coming out for the side of Colosus. Playa is playing like a god, I do have to say.
I wonder if they're going to try and get a boss out of this. Obviously, these short death timers, they're going to go ahead and forgo that and just grab the camp instead. I like this move. It would have been a little bit of a risky play to get that. You just won the fight. It's 2-2. You're on your way to 13. I'm not sure if they'll get there before the next tribute, but they are in a good and prime position after that last fight. But this is still anybody's game. It's 7 kills to 5. I like the action so far from both teams, and I would really like to see them try and prioritize a boss here, but I'm curious what their reaction is going to be now after that last fight.
Yeah, I feel like both these teams know that level 13 is going to be the really big, like getting that talent tier spike. If one can reach before the other, that's going to be an absolutely big deal. I don't think either feels, but actually, as I say that, Colosus is going to have to go for that boss, but the tribute, okay, they're just going to back. The tribute's going to spawn in the bot lane. I was going to say, I didn't think there was going to be enough time to take a boss before the next tribute spawns. So they're actually going to be opting to rotate down for this. Crissylo's already in position, but are both these teams going to scuffle a bit coming down here? Handlebar is a little bit far out, so let's see how this next fight goes. A little bit of vision advantage coming in, but Snazzy, he's just going ham, coming into the backline. Crissylo Playa is getting caught out there. Everything's going on him, and he's going to go down. Yes, 7-sided strike, but there's the Maw. Only going to catch one. Crissylo taking lots of damage. Panda Man is going ham. The Blizzard comes down. He's going to fall, though. Oh.
The fact that Vala vaulted in there was a really questionable call because it put him in a tough position. As we see Johanna go down as well, trying to get out of there is Trash Talk and Kemet. The only 2 alive, Li Ming and Thrall, but they're going to be able to rotate this. And this is something that I actually saw them do on Wednesday. They got the tribute. They're just got a few kills. They're going to go ahead and get the wall, get the tower down, and they're going to try and get an early keep. It's not quite as early as I saw on Wednesday, but they are still putting themselves in a very strong position. But the short timers are going to keep them from getting that keep, and that's, you know, kind of a tough call at this point. They got the wall, they got 1 tower, but hopefully they can get a little bit more out of this with this advantage and continue to ride the experience that they got after that last fight.
Yes, indeed. I remember seeing, actually had Tempo Storm run this exact move against us on the road to BlizzCon in August, and they actually managed to pull it off. They knew this fort was going to go down anyway, so they took advantage of this curse and said, hey, we're going to try and get a keep here. The death timers were just a little bit too short, though, but they're going to end up securing all the forts, the wall in the top lane, and they're just going to back up and boss. I still think this is an absolutely okay position for them to be in, because now this boss has a great, clear shot to the keep in the bot lane, and I wonder, are they going to go coast to coast?
I think this is going to be really easy for them if they want to go ahead and go with this. Now that they've grabbed the boss, it's going to be pushing that bottom lane. The curse is up. We do see now Colosus hopping on their own boss, but you have to know that the rotation is coming from that of Arcane here, and this might be a potential throw pit, and there comes the vision out from that cocktail, and that's going to be able to get him vision. That's going to force Colosus back off, and that's going to allow the boss to continue to push, and that's going to allow Arcane to grab the second boss, and this is going to be a huge moment for them as the level experience is starting to grow, and this is going to be huge damage coming in on the lanes here in top and bottom.
Yep, if there was a chance for them to fight, it was going to be right there while they were on an even talent tier before 16 was reached for Arcane, but instead they weren't able to execute quite fast enough. They ended up backing. This keep is going to go down regardless. I kind of wish they'd stayed and fought it out, because that keep was going to die anyway. So at that point, commit, try and get something there, but in the end, the boss is going to come through. But they're going to lose 2 keeps for this, and Arcane is just... they're taking as much as they can here. They're level 16 now, so things are looking in a very good spot here. Are we going to see a Sunder? Are we going to see it engage, though? I'm not sure. Try and get something, but this boss is pushing in. Could this potentially be game?
If they can get a gank or two, this is going to be GG, and they have to defend really well. That is Colosus. They have to stay back. They still have their heroics. They can still do plenty of damage. Their main focus should be on the boss and staying behind the core right now. They look like they are making that. They're not getting the aggression from Arcane, who's going to go ahead and rotate over and get a camp. And I like this move. Get some structure damage in, grab the camp, and get every bit of value you can out of those 2 bosses, and they are doing just that. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and force a little bit of action here with this camp, and it looks like they might just go ahead and back and play it a little bit safe.
Yeah, you know what? They realize they're in a position where the game is theirs to lose at this point. There's no reason to make any crazy aggressive plays. They probably could have looked to push for core there, but the whole enemy team there's all 5 of them still up. So if there was a chance for Colossus to come back in this game, it would have been off a couple dumb deaths from Arcane there. So they're not going to opt for that. They're just going to back. They're going to paint the map blue, and they're going to make Colossus come to them. But at this point, level 16 is going to be coming out for Colosus in the next minute or so, assuming they soak well. So there is a chance for them still to come back in this game. It's very slim, though, now. They are down 2 keeps.
Yeah, that's why I would have liked Arcane to at least try and take down that gate and those 2 towers with that camp there. That would have given them a little bit more experience, a little bit more structure damage, and continue to hold on to that experience lead. But we now have another tribute. We are about to see 16 hit for Colossus. They're not going to rotate up and defend. They're going to wait till they're on even talent levels. Or will they rotate? But that seems to be the right move. Wait till you're on even talent levels. If they can win the next fight, they put themselves right back in the game.
Yeah, for sure. There looks like they're just going to try and clear mid, get level 16. They're not going to contest this tribute. That's a smart call from them. It doesn't really mean anything for Arcane. But actually, as we say this, here we go. Schnazzy's coming to the back line. They're diving on that medic. 7-sided strike I expect to go down. And no, they don't even need it. Playa just getting absolutely obliterated. Trash Talk is running for your D-Life, but their medic is taken down. Sweaty Crew, he's actually caught out a bit here too. Cristilo had that vision, so they knew he was there. And he's actually going in pretty hard now. Ice Block's going to come and keep him alive, but the fight is going. There's comes the 7-sided strike. The stun instantly canceling straight. Panaman Zeus running for dear life. There's the 5-man Sunder. And oh man, Schwitty Crew, he's popping this avatar. They want to end the game right here, right now.
I'm curious if they're actually going to try and push here or rotate back for the keep. They had the potential, again, playing it very safe. They realized that it's a little bit of a risky play. I still would have liked to have seen them go for core there. You know, Morales still is up, but when you lose your tank and your support in that back line, it does make it tough on the other team. But we are going to see them go ahead and rotate in. If they can get the 3rd keep here, that's going to put them in a huge advantage because all 3 forts still stand for Arcane right now.
Absolutely. I think the deciding factor there was the fact that Cristilo had no mana. So if one of their primary DPS is sort of not able to contribute with that, they're opting to play it safe. A little bit safer than I would have. They have that gray mana. I would prefer for them to go for the throat in that situation and end the game. But they're just opting to back up here, and they're going to take this. Still an even talent here, and pretty much all the ults are going to be up for the side of Colossus in a few seconds.
And this is going to be another tribute going to that of Arcane, putting them back to a 2-2. Oh, the poke comes in on that back line from Pandaman Zeus. We are seeing the damage starting to come out there. If they can secure a hit kill here, and there's a 2-man Maul on that back line, not getting caught in that Maul, was leaving, and she goes down to the Blizzard. Pandaman Zeus with the stem is going to go down. That's 4 members. Kemet, the writing is on the wall here in Burham. This is going to be GG.
And that's it, and they're calling it now. They know that it's it. It's over. 35 seconds is more than enough time. That Maul was absolutely massive. I thought Li Ming was about to start going off, but they shut her down so well. The flanks have been spot on this game. Schnazzy has been going in so hard, trusting that his team is there with him. Cristilo as well, pulling off some absolutely fantastic. And oh man, just a really great game coming from Arcane Esports.
That was, early on, it was very even in experience. The minute they hit that level 10 and the minute they started to win those fights, everything kind of really turned in their favor. They lost one fight, and it kind of kept things on even ground. But Arcane showing their strength, and they were able to rotate basically every proper move, opting for a little bit of a safer move. Obviously, I think they knew that they had won pretty much every fight after that second half of that part of the game. And they were able to get that, and you can see, check out the Greymane damage and the amount of takedowns there.
Ooh, Greymane pulling top damage by far, well, not quite by far in his team, but actually still 25 or 15k behind the Vala. Vala was able, and Li Ming, they both put out more damage, but it's effective damage. It's damage that didn't necessarily result in kills, so, but that's absolutely insane. Just the deaths.
It was the rotations you were talking about, man. I mean, the flanks and the rotations. I mean, every time you called them, that was the effective damage that you were talking about.
Yeah,
it was pretty brutal.
You don't need 10k damage if you only need that 2,000 in that moment to execute that medic, and they did such a fantastic job. And that's what I was talking about during the draft, was that kind of what I feared with medic is they had so much dive and just going in and just executing her. Which is really the purpose of Greyman. I love the pickup there. It was used to very good effect, just combining that. Murden Schnazzy was playing just a fantastic game. Definitely a name that I recognize being around for quite a while. So just a great first game coming up from Arcane Esports. We're going to hop on a quick break, and we're going to bring you guys back into this next game. So thanks for sticking around. If you guys like what you see, make sure to tweet, get some people in here, spread the word. This is the first night of Awesome Heroes action this weekend, so we're hoping to kick it off with a bang. So stick around, and we'll be back in a little bit.